Yeah, daily discipline. Daily discipline is how you conquer or you overcome anxiety. Everything: anxiety, trauma, insecurities, fears, doubts, addiction, procrastination, certain patterns that people get stuck in. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've been mentoring people for 12 years. I've been facing my own fears for more than 20 years. Probably, actually, it's even longer than that. If I'm being accurate, I'm 40 now. I started facing my fears when I was like a young teenager, getting bullied at school. So, if you want to change your life, it's this is, one of the truths that a lot of people, deep down, people know it, but they don't really want to accept it until they do and they change. It's going to be very painful at times, extremely painful, and no one escapes it. In a sense that life's painful. We've all got pain. None of us escape that now. Some people may have got more pain than others. That's true as well. But the fact is that living comes with pain. But there's even a far worse pain in my experience, and that's the pain of not being yourself, not being authentic, and not living, the life that you want to live and being the person that you want to be. That comes with a hell of a lot of pain. If you let it build up over many years, which is what a lot of people do. And I'm not judging that. I've done it myself. It's a very, very challenging thing to do. It takes a special type of person, a special type of character to face your own pain and take responsibility, especially when a lot of the pain was not your fault. It was the pain of someone abusing you, bullying you, which is usually where most of the pain comes from. All of our pain, childhood trauma. And most people know that. That's kind of common knowledge. That's kind of the obvious stuff. But knowing this stuff, like reading a book or watching a video online or listening to my stuff and hearing my story, or someone that's overcome a lot like myself, made changes, it's not the same as doing it. It's completely different. So I'll give you an example. It's like watching someone box on television or going and watching a boxing match. It's not the same as you getting in and doing it, because when you're watching someone, you're not taking the punches, you're not getting hurt, you're just watching it and you're going, yeah, I understand that because I'm watching it, I'm seeing it, I'm taking it in, but you're not living it. And that's where most people give up and quit, because they don't want to face the pain of their insecurities, of their shame, of their anger, their resentment, their blame, all of the negative things that have happened to them in their childhood or recent. And like I said before, nobody likes pain, no human being does. But when you understand the value of becoming a better person and improving yourself and changing your life, all these things, if you want to be a better person and treat people better, if you want to be a good example, if you want to be happy, fulfilled, if you want to have the right career, all these different kind of questions people have of different wants, you have to face pain. Because if you don't, then nothing's going to change, and actually you're going to be in more pain. So I break it up into two types of pain. There's the pain of not changing and staying as you are, where you are, and as you know already, you'd have already done that. Most of you would be doing that now. That you don't escape pain doing that. You might numb some of it because you're kind of in a comfort zone. So you're kind of protecting yourself from more pain. And I'm going to give some other analogies from my life that can help you, and things that I've helped people with and things that I've experienced myself. So when I was younger, growing up, if you know my story, I got bullied a lot. I was a loving kid. I was very sensitive. I was very very fearful of hurting other people's feelings, which isn't a bad thing at all, and my own. And I had many good qualities. Obviously, no one's perfect. I wasn't perfect, but I was a good person, good kid, very loving, very trusting with people, quite charismatic, quite intelligent. But then I started to get bullied. The kids, the girls and the guys, more so the guys, but sometimes girls, they would see my kind nature as a weakness, and they would exploit it, and then they would bully me. You know, they'd physically hit me, call me names, intimidate me, take my money, threaten me. And these things really broke me down as a person. Later on, these things started to really affect me, because obviously these things happened over many years of abuse and bullying. And then eventually I was in a lot of pain, and I was scared. I was scared of getting hurt again, because I'd been hurt many times. You know, my dad bullied me growing up. I had an abusive dad. So I'd been hurt quite a lot of times, and then I feared more hurt. So I did whatever I could to protect myself socially, mentally, emotionally, as a coping strategy, right? Which was the right thing to do at that time, because that was the knowledge I had when I was a young kid. I wasn't an adult. But as I got older and become an adult, that protecting and that shame that I carried, and that you know, inability to accept that I had a lot of insecurities and a lot of low self-esteem, I wasn't able to do that at a certain point, because I just couldn't deal with the truth. So I would block it out and do what most people do. You know, people either take drugs, they eat bad food, they have bad relationships, they people please, or they just stay stuck. You know, if you know my story, a part of my story, because there's a lot in my story, but in my 20s, I couldn't come to a coffee shop now, what I'm doing now. I couldn't be confident. I couldn't be around people. I couldn't deal with it. I was too anxious, too uncomfortable, because I couldn't deal with the pain of what happened to me in the past and how it made me feel. But when it got to a point where the pain got so bad that I actually started to think about killing myself, that's when I went, I can't do this anymore, because I don't want to die and kill myself, but I'm running out of options. So it's either kill myself, which I really don't want to do, or it's change. Because I had 3 options. It was kill myself, which I didn't want to do, but I felt like doing. It was remain where I was, which I could no longer bear anymore. That was making me want to kill myself. Or it was face the fear, face my fears, and I knew that they were, and change my life. So every single area obviously come with pain. Killing myself would have been extremely painful for my family, and you know, God knows what would happen to me after, even though I believe in God, but it's the unknown. And then changing was painful, so it's like, pick the best pain. And I knew deep down that the best pain would be to change as a person and share my story, and you know, not let the bullying from my dad, kids at school around my area, break me down, and become the person that I was born. Get that person back and live the most amazing life, or at least die trying. And that's the journey I went on, and it changed my life, and it's been a continuation. And that's what enabled me to, you know, get paid and be financially free and do what I love and mentor people and live a positive life. And obviously it's been a long journey now. I'm 40 years of age, and I'm kind of reflecting on 20 years, and I'm going back and forward to share with all of you my story, so it can help you to change and face the pain in your life. So, you know, it's weird, because when you say this, a lot of people go, oh, but some people can't even handle it. It's like too gruesome. But when you understand the value of facing the pain, and the pain doesn't last forever, a lot of peace comes. So a lot of the peace that you would feel coming out of me now, or seeing me, if you can see that I can feel it, this peace has come from facing massive amounts of pain throughout my life. So, you know, they say, there's a saying in bodybuilding for many years, people probably know it, it's kind of a cliche now, no pain, no gain. And that's true. So if you want to build muscle, you've got to break down the muscle tissue, you've got to stress the muscles, train hard, it's painful. If you don't go through the pain, you're not going to grow, you're not going to build muscle, or even going out losing weight, what I do in training, that's very painful in periods. Running, challenging yourself, you know, getting sick, feeling nauseous, getting out of breath. It's not a pleasant process until you change and get used to it and you enjoy it. But that's how you get fitter. So in the same way, with healing yourself from abuse, childhood abuse, social anxiety, low self-esteem, being bullied, being broken down, having all these anxieties and insecurities, you grow by facing them. and rebuilding yourself. So let me give you a concrete example. Many people, I have it with clients, and I know you're the same. I know everyone's got this, and unless they change it, everyone's scared of public speaking. It's one of the biggest human fears. People are scared that they're going to be shamed, judged, and they're going to be rejected and abandoned by the entire human race. Even though that is so exaggerated and not true, it is a primal, unconscious fear that humans have, that if you go and do a speech in front of a group of people and they all hate you and don't accept you, or you start to stutter and get embarrassed and they all shame you, it's gonna like kill your survival, which it wouldn't, but someone who's not mentally strong and is not experienced, that could destroy them. It could, if they're vulnerable. Some people, if that happened to them, they might never be able to recover from that. So overcoming pain is understanding, is having the intelligence, not from reading a book. It's more the awareness. It's more spiritual growth. Yes, it's awareness of the value of facing that pain. Because when I first did a public talk, when I started my business, I was paralyzed with anxiety because it brought up all of my past shame and insecurities and fears. And I started to get awkward and stutter. I couldn't carry out the speech fully. The people were great, they were very accepting, and a lot of people actually felt better because they could relate to me, and I managed to kind of struggle through and talk a bit more. So I did really well actually, looking back, but I still got nervous, and my biggest fear come true. My biggest fear was always, what if I go and do a talk in front of people and I get nervous and awkward and everybody sees it, everybody sees my insecurities? But that was the best thing that ever happened to me back then, because then it was a question of, what am I going to do now? Am I going to never do public speaking and give up because I feel like I've just embarrassed myself and everyone's judged me? Or am I going to continue and keep doing the talks? And that's what I done, and I got better, and I didn't care anymore what people thought, because, well, number one, I loved helping people, and I was more focused on what I was giving as opposed to what receiving, and I had the confidence now. But I had to do many public talks and go through a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety, a lot of emotional pain. I had to do a lot of processing. A lot of things from my childhood would come up before the talk, after, but a lot of joy came, a lot of love, a lot of healing. So it's not just all pain and misery. It's not like that. It wouldn't be fair. But there are periods of massive amounts of pain, and this is what people are frightened of. This is why people don't change when they, because they don't want to, because everybody deep down is intelligent. We don't know everything, but we do know a lot, and deep down people know what they're capable of doing. They know that they can change their life, but they know that it's going to be hard. They know it's going to be painful, and they know that you might have to risk your life. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but you might have to at some point. You're definitely going to risk being ridiculed publicly, especially if you want to be successful with the times we're living in now. That is a risk. You have to accept those risks. So there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of danger, there's a lot of scrutiny, judgment, but there's also a lot of lovely people that you meet, and you get to not just change your life, but you can impact other people. So I really wanted to go over to that today, because we can't leave this out. It's like saying to someone, it's basically like teaching someone that's never been in a boxing ring before, teaching them how to throw punches, but not teaching them how to defend themselves, and explaining to them that you're going to get hurt in the sport, even in sparring. You're going to get punched, and it hurts, believe me. When your adrenaline's high, you don't feel it, but there are times where you don't have adrenaline, and when you get hit, when I got hit, it's a shock. If you're not used to being hit and punched, any normal civilian or standard person is going to be frightened. That hurts. But when you get, over time, you train, you have a different mindset, you get more accustomed, you get used to it, you get used to getting punched the more you do it, and you learn to block, you learn to cover up, roll the shots, or take a shot. So in the same way with changing your life, the more you face pain, the more you build a tolerance to it. But obviously you've got to go through the pain, and it's not pleasant, especially at the start, because it's a shock to the system. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more you grow, the more you want to keep doing it. So what I've just described there is exposure therapy, which is basically a psychological or professional term for someone who has got a fear or phobia or an anxiety of whatever it may be, could be anything, and that person would gradually start to expose themselves to the very thing that they fear. So some people are afraid of being out in public, some people are afraid of getting on planes, some people are afraid of public speaking, some people are really frightened of what people are frightened of, speaking on a YouTube video or starting a business, or or social situations. Whatever the fear, whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter. The solution is really the same. You've got to confront your own emotions inside and face that pain until obviously you make progress, you heal it, you improve, and then it's no longer a problem anymore, and then it's on to the next one if you want to keep growing. So yeah, it's a true saying, the truth hurts, but the truth shall set you free. So admitting, first of all, you're insecure. Just think about it. Most people can't do it. I remember growing up seeing many people couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But I've seen a pattern. This will inspire a lot of you. Some of you might not like this. You might not like me for saying it, and that's fine. I'm not here to please people. I'm here to help, be truthful, change people's lives. For those that want to, those that don't, you've got a choice not to watch this. People that usually can't admit their insecurities, then they're not very honest. They don't become successful. But usually successful people are very vulnerable because they can't live those lies anymore. They've gone past that. They've grown and they're more vulnerable, which is great. They help people more. So it's actually a strength to go, look, these are actually all my insecurities. I'm not going to hide them anymore. Whether that's the case where you say, I used to have these insecurities and I overcome them, and this is how I did it, you can do it. Or actually, these are insecurities that I'm still dealing with now, that are still haunting me, but I'm open about it and I work on them every day. That's great confidence and humility. A lot of people think that confidence is talking about yourself in a good way. There's some truth in that, or showing people how strong you are and your money, your fame, your cars, or your physique, or how fast you are. But I've learned on my journey that that's not really true. Like, true confidence and humility is actually confessing, admitting to people your weaknesses. And that doesn't mean you put yourself down. No, there's a balance. That doesn't mean that you hate yourself. Absolutely not. But it is a genuine humility where you're being vulnerable. And that's a true strength. That's how human beings really help the next person. So it's more confident. When I work with a client, I always say, and I mean it, whenever I'm working with a client and whatever insecurity that I'm helping them with, whether it's building a business, it's getting over social anxiety, it's overcoming bullying, it's selling, marketing, it's getting fit, it's losing weight, it's getting into a habit of getting up early, whatever the challenge I'm helping them with, or the anxiety, or if it's a problem in their communication, too much people pleasing, I always say when they're vulnerable, well done. That took a lot of strength. You've just admitted that you're deeply ashamed about money, because you grew up. I've worked with people that have grown up poor and rich, and they're both ashamed of money. They feel a real shame with it, and it makes them angry. And I went through that too growing up. So when they admit that, I go, that's amazing. That's real confidence there. Because insecurity and lies would be to say, no, I don't have any problems with money, I'm great with money. But deep down, that's a lie, that's not true. So telling lies is not confident. And that's what a lot of people do, especially today on social media, because everybody wants to, many people want to impress people. But doing that for many years actually harms you, because you're lying to yourself. So if you've got a great relationship with money, then that's great, then that's true. Then there will be an appropriate time to share that with someone, to help them in what I would say a non-braggadocious way. So bragging and showing off is usually massive insecurity, unless it's done in a context where it's coming from a good place to inspire people and say, look, I've grown up poor, or I got bullied, or I was overweight and I worked hard and I become financially free and I lost weight and I'm a better person, and I want to help you, you can do the same. That's very nice and kind. That's not bragging. It's a different place it comes from. So yeah, you know, admitting your insecurities takes a lot of confidence and courage, and that's actually how you can overcome them. You can't overcome an anxiety, an addiction, an insecurity, anger, a bad habit, all these things that are perceived as negatives. You can't change them if you don't have the strength and the honesty to admit that you have them, and then to go to work. So, you know, it would be the equivalent of someone, this is kind of common knowledge, someone who's an alcoholic but denies it and says, I don't have a problem drinking, I just have a drink every now and then, and you know, I've got control over it, when really that's a lie, that they are an alcoholic and they can't control it, and they do have a drinking problem. So the real strength would be for someone to go, I've got a problem with alcohol, I can't stop drinking, and I would like to stop. That's where the healing starts, with the honesty. Same with any addiction. With someone, let's say they've got you know, a pornography addiction, or a sex addiction, or a bad eating addiction, or a drug addiction. If they can't admit it and be honest, then you're not going to grow. You're not going to change anytime soon. So the real strength is in the honesty of the insecurity, and then it's going to work on it, and then it's making that insecurity a security, a strength where you overcome it. But doing that is painful, you know. It's not going to, you can't do all this pain-free. That's what generally people want from a teacher. You can't, it doesn't exist. I think more people are understanding that now. As soon as you face any type of truth, you're honest, you will come to that truth. And I've said it in any area. If you want to get off drugs, it's not going to be pain-free. If you want to lose weight, it's not going to be pain-free. If you're in poverty and you want to become financially free, it's not going to be pain-free making those changes. If you've grown up like I did for most of my life, with bad social anxiety, with anxiety, with depression, with paranoia, with trust issues, with being bullied, trauma, changing and rebuilding yourself, it's not going to be it's not going to be pain-free. It's going to be a lot of pain. But the pain, I guess it's how people value it. It's worth it if you want to change. If you really want to change your life and get to a good place and be able to share your story without the fear of what people think, and from a good place, and of actually having made positive changes, then you have to work through pain. Because if you don't work through pain, then unfortunately you're not going to change. Your life isn't going to change. It probably get worse, and you'll be in massive pain anyway, because eventually the pain will catch up to you. That's what happens with everybody with trauma. We generally spend a lot of our time, and I done the same, so I know it, avoiding our trauma and our pain, because we're scared of it. We don't want to face the darkness of it, and the demons, and the shame and everything else, and the greatness also that's in it, the growth, the love, a lot of goodness. So people generally just go, I can't deal with it. That's what we do, and stuff it down, or medicate, or however we do it, defense mechanisms. But there comes a point where you get to a certain age, maybe 30, morning Frank, maybe 40, maybe 50, where you can no longer bury the pain that you've been avoiding, the insecurities, the demons that you're dealing with. That starts to come to the surface, and it usually manifests in things like anger, frustration, stress, anxieties, you know, all those sorts of things, addiction. So, you know, the quicker you face the pain, the quicker you're going to find peace in life and change. But if you've come on this stream today, we're talking about daily discipline for anxiety, how to change your life, and the fact that you can't change any aspect of your life pain-free. It doesn't exist. And when you can accept that and work on that, you can begin to change your life. And you know, that's anyone that's got any honesty and truth, that's faced anything in their life, will tell you the same. I'll tell you the same. You'll hear the same from David Goggins. Les Brown will say the same. Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, all the successful people you see online, Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, whatever industry, if anyone has got any bit of honesty, which they do, they'll say to you that it didn't come easy. They had to work very hard. And that's why I say this is a daily thing, daily discipline. If you want to change, we've only got one day at a time. So I can't do the next 30 days now. I can't do that. None of us can. I can only do one day. So if you give everything you've got every day, then you're going to change. You can make massive progress just in a day. But yeah, believe me, I'm really compassionate. I've got a side of me that I don't like the pain. I hate it as well. I hate people suffering. I don't even like talking about these things because it's challenging, but I have to because it's the truth and people are not going to change, and I can't help people and share my story if I'm not going to be honest about the pain that we all have to go through and grow through, but also give people hope and strength and say great things will come and you'll meet nice people and you can get past the victim story that you're really battling with. You can do it. I've done it. I've seen many people do it. Yeah, I understand. I understand that feeling. I mean, look, you're going to do what you want at the end of the day, Frank. But I would say I'd still leave the house. But I know that feeling. I think if you leave the house, you're going to feel better. But yeah, a big part of my story. I felt the same growing up many times. As a matter of fact, I felt like, well, you know, Frank, I felt like that in my 20s. Then when I faced my fears, I become financially free. It took quite a lot of work. And then I was very happy. And then a few years later, I had a mental health breakdown and I become broke again. It wasn't that long ago, 6 years ago, I had success, business, which I loved. And I had mental health problems and I had to go back on benefits. But because I had experience from the first time, because I basically grew up poor most of my life, and I hated it and I was ashamed of it and I hated myself for it for a period, but because I changed and made money, I had that experience. So although I didn't like losing all my money again, I didn't care as much. I just wanted to be happy and peaceful, and you know. So my advice to anyone, and there are a lot of people that are feeling the same way Frank is, value yourself more because you're worth more than money. Because money can be replaced, but you can't replace human life. And I think a lot of people let money, and I know I did it and I've got good at it, so I can speak from this place. A lot of people value money too much. It's good to value money and respect it, but not more than yourself. Because human life's worth more than money, even though we don't live in a society that teaches that. But I don't, I teach different. So leave the house. You'll make money anyway, and money doesn't make you happy. Money makes you feel relief because it takes the stress away and it gives you more freedom. But money doesn't give you what the truth gives you. It doesn't give you what being kind to people does. It doesn't give you what I'm encouraging you to do. Getting up, working your ass off, going for a run, leaving the house when you ain't got any money, you're scared. The value is in facing the fear. Money doesn't give you what courage does, because I've had money at times in my life and I've been miserable, been depressed, have been suicidal, felt suicidal. And I've got friends that have made millions and felt suicidal, felt miserable. So it's really getting past a lot of these symbols and blocks that get in the way of people changing their life. Now, of course, you can have a lot of money, you can be a good person, you can be happy and content, absolutely, and I want that for anyone who's watching this. But it's not valuing things above you, your life, how you live, the legacy you leave, and how you treat people. So that would be my advice. I wouldn't let money put you in a prison, because if I'm not leaving my house because I haven't got any money, then I'm giving money so much power that I'm letting it put me in a prison. And we're doing that to ourselves, Frank, and a lot of people, right? And I used to do it to myself, and it's not fair, it's not kind, it's not loving yourself, because really, you should love yourself if you don't have any money in your account, zero money. You know, the old saying, I haven't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. Sorry my language, but it's passion. And then you can really make money but not be afraid of it. And I got to share my testimony. When I had a mental health breakdown in 2017, remember again my story, I grew up poor, always had struggled. My parents were hard, but we were always broke, always struggling for the next paycheck. When I become an entrepreneur, I made a lot of money, right? I didn't invest it well because that was down to me not having enough knowledge on investing. But not having money, making a lot of money, losing it all made me not care as much. I found gratitude in the mental hospital and just I don't care anymore. All I care about is faith, real things in life, loving people that I love, treating people well, having a coffee, friendship. And that literally connected me to who I was and made me go out. And then of course, bits of money came in. I went on benefits again for a while. Some friends helped me out financially, which was kind of them. Now I got myself back on my feet again. Now I'm off benefits, paying taxes, making a living, and making more money than I made before, and helping my clients to make money, and helping all of you to make money if you take my advice, but not having that negative relationship with money where your value is based on what you got, because it isn't. I was quite fortunate. I grew up with a lot of different people growing up. Even though I grew up in a poor area, a lot of people did like me. So I had some friends that were wealthy, more middle class, lower class, working class, different incomes. So I got to see a bit more of life, and then becoming a coach and a teacher, which is a beautiful experience I need to speak about on another video maybe. I've worked with people from all different backgrounds, different financial incomes, and when you get to the truth, it's not that important. It's really about courage. That's what I'm teaching, and how, who you are as a person, how you treat people. That's important. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and learn to make money. You should, If you want to make money, learn public speaking, learn sales skills, learn to be honest with people, learn how to create value on the market, and you'll get money. It's a simple way. Find the market, have a good product and service, be straight with people, deliver a good service and product, offer massive value, and you'll make money. And don't be afraid to sell products and services, and then you'll start to earn more money. So it's really learning these skills, which take courage, and you've got to face fear, and you've got to face pain. But yeah, that's why I always say the fundamental basics of what I live and teach is wake up early, make the bed, have a shower, leave the house. Great mental health, great foundation for any person, for men and women of any age. Even someone that might say, I don't want to face every bit of pain in my life, I'm kind of happy, but I just want to enjoy my days more. I want to be a better person. Well, if you want to do that, wake up early, make the bed, be thankful, and leave the house, go out for coffee, be polite to people. It's a great start. Go to the gym. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, all of you. If you come onto the stream today, I'm talking about how to change your life, how to be a positive person, how to, live each day in gratitude, make things simple. And I'm also talking about the honesty and the difficulty, have compassion for what we all have to go through, but also the joy and the courage and the education and explanation on the fact that we've all got to face massive amounts of pain. I'm not saying forever, of course not, and not every minute, but there are periods of our life, if we want to change, we have to face pain. And I've shared some of my story. And, probably all of you know this. Those of you that don't, great, you will learn something new today. But I think deep down, all human beings know what they need to do. They know that there's a lot of pain that they've got to face in their life if they want to change their life. And change doesn't come pain-free. Like I said, you can't lose 20, 30 pounds in weight without getting uncomfortable and going through pain. You can't break an addiction of drugs, alcohol, or sugar, or pornography, or sex, or abusive relationships, or whatever the addiction. You can't break that addiction without going through some emotional or mental pain. It's not going to happen. So when you can accept that and work with that, that's when you can make changes and start to build. I'm not saying straight away, obviously one step at a time, one day at a time, maybe an hour at a time for some people. You can start to build the tolerance, the mental toughness, the emotional toughness, the spiritual strength, the insight, to withstand the pain of change. I'm always pretty fascinated. I still am. I'm amazed at how strong human beings have been throughout history. I really am. When I hear people's stories, I'm like, because I'm, you know, I'm still very humble. I try to be, and people say, "Oh, oh, you've done a lot, Jonathan," and I appreciate that, even though it feels like I haven't done enough. In a way, I know I could do more and help more people, which is what I'm trying to do. But when I look at what people have done and what they've gone through and grown through, I'm like, they're amazing. How did they do that? Because I know what it takes. Because I've done it, and I'm still doing it and helping people and want to improve myself. So I'm like, I know what that takes. That's not easy, what someone like David Goggins has done. And it doesn't have to be famous people. My client Phil, what he's doing, the courage, my client James, who are doing my 2-year program, the pain that they're going through to change, and they're obviously getting more joy in their life. It's remarkable, the courage, the strength, because it hurts. It's obvious. When you're younger, when you feel pain, what do? You go, ow, I don't want that to stop. It's natural, it's human. If something's hot, if you pick up a hot thing, you go, ouch, that kind of burn, ow. So this same with the dentist. When I had a pain in my tooth, I'd be like, ow, and I didn't want to go dentist because I didn't like the injection, or I didn't like them putting the equipment on the tooth, because the root, I'd be like, it hurts, stop. So that's a natural reaction of human beings. We naturally shy away from pain because we're sensitive. We've got emotions, we've got a soul, we've got a spirit, we've got a mind, and we are all extremely, extremely vulnerable. But we're also contradictory, really strong. We're both, men and women. And for men that struggle with that, the truth is deep down, the real truth is, a man is really weak. I'm really weak and vulnerable and really strong. But of course, it depends on also how you live. So contradictory to popular belief, and I'm going to share more. This is my story. The second part is true. You do need to be strong to change. You do need to be a strong person mentally and emotionally to get through the challenges of life and to change or get over an addiction or overcome anxiety. That is true. But I've also found you also have to be a weak person. You have to have some vulnerability. It's not just all, it's not like people think sometimes. And maybe because I've gone through my own journey, and we've all got a different journey, we have similarities, and life has taught me that. The first part of my journey, it was all about being strong and tough and being a warrior. There's a lot of value in that, going out and facing my demons and taking action, and I guess being a man in the kind of classical sense as the idea that we're taught, which I don't agree on all of it. Some of it I do. So I went out and stood up to bullies and did public talks and went and done boxing and martial arts, and I really wanted that approval from my dad, from other men, from women, from society. Was kind of disappointed I didn't fully get it in the way that I hoped, but kind of did get it, and then come to my own conclusion, and it helped me a lot. But then when I had a breakdown, all that stuff didn't work. So being strong can really work in certain environments, but there are environments where actually being strong is a weakness. That makes sense. It makes sense to me. So when I was in a mental hospital, I was like, hang on a minute, how did I get here? I'm weak right now. I want to get out of here. I need to be strong. I tried to be strong. It didn't work. And that's when I found my faith again. Had to really go, I had no choice. I had to go deep within myself. Money didn't help because I made a lot of money. So it's like money's not working right now. Validation's not working. Fame is not working. Trying to be angry is not working. Trying to be a tough guy is not working. Trying to be more masculine. I'm already a masculine man, but being more, it's not working. I have to learn. Wow, I'm a beginner again. What is working? Weakness, vulnerability, humility, completely giving up, completely just saying, I'm broken, I'm finished. I can't do it on my own. I need help, God. That's when I started to get more strength and more insight. And that helped me to get through the massive amount of pain that I was in. I was in absolute agony. This is a true story. Feel good to share it. See, you get the piece. I was in so much pain when I was going through my mental health breakdown from about, I would say, 2016 to 17. I thought I was going to die. I remember thinking, how am I not dead? Like, how can a person go through this amount of mental and emotional pain and still be living? I want, part of me is going, I just want to die. This is too painful. All my trauma from childhood had surfaced to the conscious, unconsciously to the conscious, and other things in my life, had come, and good things as well. The pain of growing and maturing and learning more. All these things come at me, and a lot of sadness and grieving, for death in families, joy, all of it come at me, and I was just overwhelmed with mental and emotional pain. And I just thought, I'm gonna die. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to die, but I'm gonna die like this. This is agony. And that's when being weak and surrendering gave me spiritual strength and peace. And I'm still now coming out of that experience a lot more healed. Still got a bit more to go in helping more people. So that's my continued story and truth. So yes, being strong is important, but there is a time. This is for men and women, my message, both people, but especially for men who feel that they've got to be strong all the time, masculine all the time, never weak. In my experience, that will only get you so far. That will not help you in loving relationships, connections, authenticity. It will not help you, because you're not going to be honest. You're not going to be full. A man is both. He's not just strong all the time. That's insecure. And he shouldn't obviously be weak all the time. That would be insecure. That would be too unstable. It's a balance. It's a balance of humility, of being strong, but also being meek and vulnerable. And those two together make you a more mature, stronger, caring, compassionate, humble human being. That's what I learned from my experience, and I learned this from great men and women that are smarter than me, older than me, more healed than I am, if you want to say that, got a bit more life experience than me. But obviously, of course, no one's better than anyone. They would also have elements, weaknesses where I'm stronger and I know more. Same as everybody, we've all got strengths and weaknesses. So, this is a lot of truth to pass on to people, and my story, and so to inspire people, give them hope, and the understanding of what this entails, changing your life, becoming a better person, and being vulnerable, growing more. Like I said, deep down, I think I know deep down. I've been mentoring people for 12 years now. I've mentored women, but mostly men. And when I meet men, friends and clients in person, we sit down and have a chat, and have these deep, honest conversations. Men know deep down, they know who they are, how they should be, and they know that they can't be strong all the time, because they tried that, and that just gives you mental health problems. But they know that there is a time to be strong. And I actually learnt that in boxing, that when I first come into learning boxing, I didn't know anything about boxing. I got bullied growing up. I didn't like fighting, but I had to fight because I had to. My life was at stake. So even when I was younger, my dad would make me fight one-on-one. Someone bullied me, my dad would make me go out and fight them. And I hated it, but I had to do it. And I had to, so I had a lot of street fights and a lot of fights in school because I got bullied a lot and I had to fight back. But when I come to doing boxing, I'd never done it before. So I thought, I'm a good street fighter, I'm pretty decent. Had a lot of street fights, but boxing was different. And a lot of the things I thought didn't work. So I had to learn. It was totally different. And there were elements where tensing up and trying to be strong didn't work. I remember a professional teacher, the trainer, saying to me, you're doing it wrong. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm hitting it hard, I'm strong. And he's going, no, that's, you're not punching right. You're not relaxed. So they were teaching me how to breathe more, how to relax more. I can't do it right now, but let the shots go without tensing up. And I felt like this feels very weak. Like, how is this gonna hurt someone? But when you get the technique right, it's really strong. Because when you're more relaxed and loose, the shot the technique's better and it's more effective, as opposed to when you're tensing up and you're trying to knock someone out like a street fight in a boxing ring. Generally doesn't work on a skilled boxer, because they will just see that coming, they will cover up, it will block it, and they will pick you apart and knock you out and hurt you. So I learned a lot from martial arts and boxing, lessons that I could apply to life, you know, with resilience and honesty. And sometimes, you know, you got to be strong, sometimes you got to be weak. You know, that's part of truthfulness. And I'm going a bit philosophical, but, you know, Bruce Lee was right when he said that, you know, he said the same thing, like water can fit into any substance. You can put it into a bottle, you can put it into a teapot, water, it can flow, it can crash. Water is very soft, isn't it? When you first feel water, you're going, can't do nothing. But you go into an ocean and see how strong water is when there's a storm. It can kill you, it can knock down half the planet. So water is strong and it's weak. And I think in the same way, that's a lesson for all of us in nature and in life, lesson from God, that, you know, you can't be strong in every situation because it's not going to work for you. It's going to go against you. And you can't be weak in every situation. There's a right way of being a person, and I equate that back to healing and getting past anxieties and traumas, especially with training and losing weight. Another thing I've learned, a lot of people make a mistake. I did it. When we first start going for a run, what's the first thing that we do? Let's be honest. We try and go really fast because ego, we want to beat everybody in our head and we want to impress people. So we try to go all out. What happens? We burn out. That's what happened to me. It happens to everybody. You fatigue. You're not fit. Technique's not right. Anger, hatred, too aggressive. It doesn't, it's off. It's not correct. The running. Whereas if you start off as a beginner and you just slow down, obviously you go at a certain pace where you can build up a sweat and some fitness course, but you don't go crazy. You just go at a nice pace, you know, with a nice rhythm. And when you do that for a long time, you start to get fitter, and then your technique improves with your running, then your breathing improves, then you get more confident and you're not insecure, you're not trying to compete with people, you're not trying to put other people down, you're just being yourself. There's appreciation and gratitude in the run. Then you naturally can start running faster, and there is a real beauty to it. So you get to that point not by tensing up, not by being aggressive, but actually by surrendering and being vulnerable, and that's a real strength. So the practice of vulnerability for everyone, especially for men, makes you stronger in the correct way, you know, which we know deep down. We've done it as a kid. You guys would know when you were younger. I don't know how old all of you are. Let's just say you're 20, 30, 40. When you're a teenager, when we're younger, and we first make friends, and you get on with someone, it's a lovely thing. You know, you don't try and dominate them or fight with them. I mean, that happens a little bit as kids, but generally, when you've got a friend that you love, there's a softness to it. You know, amongst men, there's a beauty, and it's genuine. It's nothing weird or anything like that. There's a connection, and there's a strength in that, because you're vulnerable and you're softer, but in the vulnerability and the softness is a real strength, and that strength is love and connection and honesty, intimacy, whatever you call it. So that's a big part of facing the pain and growing. And a lot of the pain that we go through and men do, not all of it, but most of it is self-inflicted through trying to be something that you're not, you know, instead of just being yourself and being honest. And that's why I come back to, most people don't admit their insecurities because they've got too much pride, and they think they're being strong because that's what's kind of taught initially in society, but they don't realize that that's actually being weak. It's a better truth, because when you're trying to be something that you're not, and you're not being honest about your insecurities, who are you kidding? You can lie to everybody else and they might think you're cool and they don't really know you, but you're lying to yourself. It hurts you. And I learned this on my journey, which is why I always really valued honesty. And I'd be angry at myself if I weren't truthful. If I was telling people that I was really confident at something, but I knew deep down that I was lying and I wasn't confident, I was actually really insecure. Now I would say it, I've changed. I wouldn't do that. I value myself, and I I don't want to go through that type of pain because it's not good, it's not truthful, it doesn't work. So there's, obviously we live and learn. So it's more stronger to say, yeah, I'm insecure about myself, I'm insecure about my self-image or about everything in my life. I'm very insecure about who I am. That's better than saying, I'm really confident in who I am, I believe in myself, I'm this, I'm that, no one can break me. But it's not true. Now, if that's true, that's brilliant. But it's better to be honest about, say it's not true, but I would like to become a confident person, I'd like to be a better person, I'd like to change my self-image. Then you can do it, and then you will do it. Of course you will do it. Change is possible. I remember when I was out of shape, I was overweight, I was fat, totally out of shape. And I went through a stage where I was in denial. I wasn't honest about it because my pride got in the way and I was ashamed. And a lot of the shame I had was because I used to be in shape when I was younger and confident, but I got overweight. And the reality was I was in great shape in my 20s and I had a really good physique and I was proud of that. But then in my 30s, after a mental health breakdown, I put on loads of weight and got fat and was overweight and went through a stage of, I've even got videos on YouTube that I'm going to backtrack and put up somewhere. Went through a stage of denial where I was actually telling myself, oh, I actually look good, I like being big, I didn't like it. So when I finally got to the point where I couldn't lie anymore, I got my friend, I've done his mentorship, one of my best friends. I said, tell me the truth. I said, I'm fat, aren't I? I'm overweight. And he was a good friend. He said, well, basically he said, yeah. So I want to change. I want to get your help. Whatever you teach me, I'm going to do. I want to pay for your services. It changed my life. I lost the weight again. So it's back to what I said. It's back to that. It's the courage to face the pain by first facing the truth about the fact that you're insecure about something and you don't like that part and you want to change it, and then you change it. So the pain is temporary. But whilst you're going through that period, it's going to be painful, but that's how you grow. And we're all the same. No one should be ashamed because no one's better than anyone. And we're all human. We all got the same fears. We want the same things pretty much. And everyone can do it, but it's the courage to do it. Everyone can do it, but from my experience, most people won't do it. Most people, I wish this weren't true. I don't feel great saying it, but I'm going to be brave. Most people will pass away never living their best life and giving what they could give to other people. I always say a deeper truth that I'm going to share, my own journey. Success is not about what you can gain from the world or people, but success is about what you give. Now, of course, I'm not going to rationalize the fact that we've all got our own requirements and we should look after ourselves. We've got to make a living. With certain things where we're all selfish, we need to look after ourselves. That's fine. But on a broader level, it's about what you give. Because when you die, most people are not going to say, well, he had this amount of money, or or Jonathan, he had a beard, or he had a receding hairline, or he had a blue jumper on. You're not going to remember that. You're going to remember how I was as a person, how I treated you, how I behaved, how I lived. That's what people are going to remember. So if you treat as many people as you can well, when you die, they're never going to forget you the same way that I didn't forget people that I love. Back to my point of, where was I now? I've gone on a big tangent. This has been great fun. Lost my train of thought. This is good when it happens. Oh yeah, I realised it. Yeah, many people will go to their grave. Les Brown said it, I've said it, David Goggins, hopefully it'll change. They don't know who they are, they've never been authentic, they've not even tried, they've not pushed themselves because they're so frightened of facing the truth, any type of truth, and facing the truth of facing their insecurities and then changing them, or at least trying, because you can never fault someone who tries their best. If they fail, then okay, they failed, but at least they tried. And there's a lot of humility in that. Because you've tried, you've given it everything you've got. If you failed, okay, you didn't get the success, but you did try, and that that counts for a lot. I consider that a success. almost done an hour. So yeah, you know, it's daily discipline. I mean, it depends on how you feel about it. There's days where I really enjoy it, and there's days where it's terrifying, it's painful, I don't want to do it. We all feel like that, but you find gratitude and you do the best you can. Right, I need to use the toilet, guys. It's my sensitive stomach to coffee, and I'll maybe go live later on. But yeah, that was a great little introduction to what you need to do in order to change your life as your pain. And I need to use the toilet now. Have a great day.